Hey, what up, y'all? Hope you're all doing well, but I gotta tell you something. Being big ain't cheap. Gotta stay young, gotta stay fresh. Limber. She needs a car wash, a little maintenance, a little TLC to get her ready to sell. Now, being big obviously has a lot of perks, but sometimes it comes with fees, such as fat fees. Yes, I've paid multiple fat fees in my life, and just recently I paid the most expensive and the most, in my opinion, egregious fat fee I've ever paid. Which takes us to a recent family trip to Hawaii, to the island of Kauai. First, oil change, Hellcat, $218. So my whole family went to the island of Kauai. It was kind of our Christmas present to ourselves, if you will. My parents got an Airbnb. Yeah, we were blessed and fortunate for that. Now the plan was we were gonna be in Hawaii for a week, which is, not complaining about that. However, I was extremely stressed about getting there because we got a 16-month-old, and I was extremely worried about putting a 16-month-old on a plane for 6.5 hours. We got 6.5 hours from Salt Lake City to Oahu, and then a short flight from Oahu to Kauai. So yeah, I didn't want to be the dad with a screaming child on a plane in a tin tube 30,000 feet up in the air. I didn't want to be that guy. I was terrified. Now, two things happened on this flight that were amazing. First is I bought Comfort Plus seats because obviously I need the room, and I paid Delta for those seats, but they did not charge me a fat fee. I didn't have to pay extra to Delta because I weighed a certain amount, so that was nice. And number two, on the way home, a red-eye flight, we actually got upgraded to first class, which was that like lie flat seats. And I know what everyone's thinking, you took a baby on a first class seat? Well, yeah, I did because we had to. I'm not gonna say no to first class. And secondly, he slept the entire time. It was a red-eye flight. I tucked him in my arms and we were solid. We were out well, I didn't sleep, but he slept the entire flight, didn't make a peep. Now, my parents got this awesome Airbnb at Princeville. It was spectacular. It was on a golf course. I didn't actually golf on this trip. That was my own decision. I regret it because that course is ranked one of the prettiest courses in the country, and I was right there, and I didn't play it, but I spent quality time with family, so
off to meet that
I guess
perfect
it's
match of
okay.
yours.
Yep.
Now, we spent a week, as I mentioned, hanging out on this island, and I left a Google review on all the places we went. So if you are curious, check the link below to all my Google reviews to just see where we went on Kauai, my opinions, my thoughts on the food, the quality of the experiences, and so forth. Now, one of my all-time like bucket list items that I wanted to do was go on a helicopter ride at some point, and ideally somewhere awesome. So here I am in Hawaii near the Nepali coast, and if you don't know about the Nepali coast, I mean, you can see the images here. It's spectacular, it's amazing, it's super famous. So I was like, hey, let's do the helicopter ride here at the Nepali coast. Gonna be epic, gonna be extremely expensive too. So we spent the first 2 days just exploring the island, having a bunch of fun, riding bicycles on the coast. I haven't ridden a bicycle in like decades. I mean, I'm a big guy. Big guys don't ride bicycles, but riding a bicycle along the coast in Hawaii, that was fun. We had some amazing food at some food trucks, just the fish and chips, so good. We went kayaking, and let me tell you something about kayaking when you're next to the ocean. If you're kayaking up the river in the morning, for example, you're going against the current because you're going up the river, right? However, if you're coming back in the afternoon, the tides, the way the tides work, you actually come back against the current as well. So we had to row an hour against the current to get there and an hour back, all for some secret waterfall hike. It was a lot of rowing, and it's science with the tides. So now you know. We also saw a bunch of sea turtles crawl up on the beach, which I gotta admit, that was pretty cool. We got to start upgrading this office like ASAP because it's time to commit to this space, and we're gonna make it dope. Now, back to this helicopter ride I wanted to do. We got a day where we had some time and the weather was perfect, so I called last minute to book some seats on Blue Hawaiian Air. And I picked Blue Hawaiian Air because they had an airport right there in Princeville, so it was like a 3-minute drive. But this is where things start to get real expensive real fast. You see, we're talking $350 to $450 a seat for a 50-minute helicopter ride at all of the chopper places. But when you're in Hawaii, it kind of is what it is, and it doesn't get much better than that. So yeah, real expensive, real quick. So I'm on the phone with Blue Hawaiian Air at 9 a.m. in the morning, trying to schedule a flight for 11 a.m. Now, the good news was nobody had booked that flight at 11 a.m. at all, and there were room for 6 people on the helicopter. However, because it could seat 6, they wouldn't actually take off unless they at least have 4 people on the helicopter. I've only got me and my wife. So I convinced my sister and my brother-in-law to join us. That's too late. So I tell Blue Hawaiian Air that I got 4 people now, and they're like, great. And they said, you know what? Because you're bringing 4 people and we weren't gonna fly at all, they might waive the fat fee. On all of these chopper places, if you weighed over 240 pounds, you had to buy an extra seat at half the price. So if the seat was $440, you had to spend another $220 just for yourself. And so for me alone, this helicopter ride is looking to cost me $660, $220 of which is for being fat. Now they obviously don't call it a fat fee, they call it a comfort fee, which I weighed 280 pounds. So yeah, I paid a fat fee. Now remember, there's seats for 6 people on this helicopter, but they hadn't had anyone book the flight yet, and they were scheduled to take off in about an hour and a half or so. So I'm bringing them 4 people. So they weren't gonna make any money, but now they're gonna make money because they got 4 people that I'm bringing them. So because of that, the lady I was talking to said, hey, they may waive the fat fee for you because they weren't gonna fly at all, and now they're gonna fly. You're bringing them 4 people, so you may not have, she didn't say fat fee, you may not have to pay for that comfort seat. Obviously, I said that would be amazing because that would save me $220. That's a lot of money. So I booked the flight, and me and my wife, my sister, and my brother-in-law run over to the airport right there in Princeville. So we pull up to the airport, and it's just lovely. Blue Hawaiian Air, they got a lovely little, like, their own little airport right there where we can check in and go through the safety briefing and stuff. It was very nice, quaint, and chill. So we go and check in with the girl at the desk, and she's very nice, she's very pleasant, and then she proceeds to tell me that I still have to pay the fat fee. And I'm like, you know, I mentioned that, hey, they said they would maybe waive it over the phone, and she's like, nope, corporate policy, you're fat, you got to pay the fee. Gonna grab some dinner, hold that thought. So not only does she say, no, you got to pay the fat fee, she also says, hey, look, here's the deal. There's 6 seats and there's 4 of you, and there's 2 middle seats. They're not as great as any of the other seats. And if somebody else walks in, the computer may assign them to have the best window seats, and you're going to be stuck in the middle. So she said, what I recommend you doing is you buy the other 2 seats, and then if somebody shows up, the flight is booked, and you have your own very private flight for yourselves. Now what she's trying to recommend sounds kind of nice in concept, but effectively she's trying to get me to spend another $880 on 2 more seats to guarantee a private flight, when the reality is we're in a very quiet part of the island and the flight takes off in 30 minutes. So she's trying to get me to gamble $880 that in the next 30 minutes 2 people don't walk in. I'm like, that's ridiculous, because she knows dang well, in the next 30 minutes 2 people aren't walking in to get this last minute helicopter tour. Not gonna happen. It's a scam. The way they're trying to nickel and dime the customer, it was just getting ridiculous at this point. So after all this, we finally get on the helicopter, and it's a good looking helicopter, kind of excited, but I get in, and my sister and brother-in-law, they get the 2 front seats, and my wife and I get the 2 back seats by the windows, and there's 2 seats in the middle between us that are empty. So I'm sitting here thinking, like, looking at the seats, where's the comfort seat? There's no comfort seat. The seats are the same. They're the skinny seats. It's just call it a fat fee. There are no comfort seats. The seats were no different. I didn't have extra room. It's a fat fee for weight. And I kind of understand that. It's a helicopter. There's weight involved, balancing, sure, I get that. They should just prorate the fat fee then. If I weigh 280 and it's over 240, they should charge me 40 pounds, a dollar ratio. If someone weighs 350, they should pay more than someone that weighs 280, because if it's truly about weight and balancing, then that's the only equitable way to do it, rather than just charging me a fat $220. What a joke. Now the helicopter ride itself, it was pretty epic. It was pretty cool to go over the Nepali coast. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Like, the views were amazing. We saw dolphins swimming in the ocean. It was a really cool experience, but it was extremely expensive. Over $2,000 for a 50-minute helicopter ride for 4 people. Now, all in all, it was a really cool experience. It was just a poop ton of money, more than I thought it would be, but it was just so much more just because I'm a big guy. Now we're gonna pick up the Hellcat. Oil change is complete, but that's my story of the fat fee. Yeah, appreciate y'all for listening and sticking around. Make sure y'all have a great day. Crush it. What's up, buddy?